What is up, Mountaineer fans? We are live. My name is Mountaineer Paul. This is another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football, a live edition. We just come off the basketball loss, and what better way to up your mood, level up just a little bit, than to talk about some good news involving the University of West Virginia University. So, obviously, a lot of you guys know by now, but Pat McAfee on his show seems like he might have let the cat out of the bag by doing this, but he said he didn't care if Kirk Herbstreit knew or not. That they're coming to Morgantown, and not only are they coming to Morgantown, they're going to do a show. And lots of cool stuff to get into here. I'll split a couple different articles up to read really quick, just quick ones to kind of explain. But basically it says, Pat McAfee, Kirk Herbstreit announced upcoming live show in Morgantown. Proceeds will go to the NIL program and WVU's Children's Hospital, and probably most likely football. After a preseason bet with Pat McAfee, ESPN analyst Kirk Herbstreit will join with McAfee to hold a live show in Morgantown. McAfee announced the news on the Pat McAfee Show today. He also said that half the proceeds from the event will go to West Virginia University's NIL fund. The other half will go to WVU's Children's Hospital. McAfee did note that no date has been confirmed for the potential show and did not mention a venue. Last summer, this is from Skylar Callahan, ESPN college football analyst Kirk Herbstreit had a little fun poking a former West Virginia kicker / punter, Pat McAfee, on his own show, saying that Mountaineers were going to lose the majority of their games in 2023. Herbie eventually became a little more realistic with his thoughts on WVU, but still didn't believe they were going to find much success. He went as far as telling McAfee, if WVU wins more than 6 games, I'll give you anything you want. He also, on the sidebar, called Neil Brown a lame duck coach. Well, West Virginia went on to win 9 games, and the man has yet to follow through on his commitment. That was until McAfee arranged a little event in Morgantown, unbeknownst to Herbie. I'm going to announce this now, even though it has not been scheduled and have no idea if it's possible. Me and Kirk Herbstreit will be doing a live show at a theater in Morgantown where the ticket money that is raised will be donated 50-50 to the NIL and the Children's Hospital. How cool is that, man? You know, well, let me get that off the screen. Apologies. Oh, yeah. The live show at a theater in Morgantown where the ticket money split 50-50. And then he said on Friday afternoon, so thank you, Kirk Herbstreit, for paying up on his bet. I have no idea if it's even possible because I haven't read that by Herbie, but that doesn't matter. You lost. That's kind of how it goes. They also talked about possibly doing it at the Coliseum, which I think would be awesome. If they hype this thing up just right, it could be gangbusters. It could be big. You know, it doesn't have to be in a small venue. I don't know what the theater sizes in Morgantown exactly look like, but I'm assuming 2,000-3,000 seats. Well, that's a pretty penny. Why not make it 16,000 or 17,000 seats? Hell, you could fill up the football stadium if you really did it right. Make it a part of the spring game. You could sell out the spring game with it. Like, I have so many ideas, and I don't know their schedules, obviously, but make it a part of game day, college game day. Like, there are so many. Penn State, West Virginia would be the perfect way to fold that in, right? And also, I have a clip, I think I do, of what McAfee said live.
It's always been West Virginia's. It's yours for the taking. I think it's your guys' for the taking. For the taking. I don't know. Doesn't Herbie owe you something for that? Yeah, I'm gonna announce this now, even though it has not been scheduled and we have no idea if it's possible. Okay. Me and Kirk Herbstreit will be doing a live show at a theater in Morgantown where the ticket money that is raised will be donated 50-50 to the NIL and to the Children's Hospital down there right across the parking lot from the stadium. Hell yeah. So thank you to Kirk Herbstreit for paying up on his bet. Thank you for doing that. Give him back there. He'll be there 5 or 6 times this year, probably. You have plenty of opportunities. See, that's what you Ohio people.
And, of course, they had to get the ribs in on Pat. So But at the end of the day, guys, I'd like to know how you feel down in the comments. What do you think are the possibilities here? What kind of things could they put together? How much money do you think you could raise? Obviously, the children's hospital aspect of this is, if I had to choose one, I would choose it. But I'm, obviously this is a football channel. We're going to talk about the NIL part of this, and it's not any disrespect to the kids and anything like that. It's just this is a football channel. So at the end of the day, this first of all, thank you to Kirk Herbstreit, who I've chastised about the way he's talked about West Virginia. Um, I think they should make this a yearly bet. I really do. With one paying up for one school or the other, whether that's Pat McAfee at Ohio State or vice versa at West Virginia. Like there's a bunch of different ways they could go with this. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Oh, before I go any further, let me shout out Dutch Miller Chevrolet, the sponsor for this great channel. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal, and that's right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across the state of West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. So, back to the topic at hand. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. What's up, Daryl Yeater? What's up, Matthew Watkins? What's up, John Cunningham? Krista Sisson, nice to see you back in here again. Tyler Cobb, Matthew Watkins, all you guys, appreciate you for showing up. Love to go to that, he said, Daryl Yeater says. Probably be too much money for me. I hope it raises a bunch of money. It's a great public publicity for recruiting. And that's a good point. That's another route I was going to take it. If I'm Neil Brown, I try to capitalize on this as much as I can. Let's just keep – I mean, it's the truth. Pat McAfee, mostly you either love him or you hate him, if you're not a West Virginia fan. On the wrestling side, he's got that group, and there's a lot of younger, teenage football-age kids that love wrestling that look at Pat McAfee as a big celebrity. And then obviously there is the college football side and now the overall sports side, the NFL side of things. He's truly a huge name in sports. And he's gotten way bigger than I ever thought he would or could. So if I'm Neil Brown, if I'm Ren Baker, I try to capitalize in as many ways possible off of this because these type of things don't happen for us all the time. So I'm using it for recruiting. I'm going to have recruits come in if I can for this. I don't know all the rules, but if I can schedule recruits to come in and be at this event, maybe give some tickets away, some recruits you really want. Move this thing to the Coliseum, sell as many tickets as you can. I mean, people would come from far and wide, not just West Virginia fans, to see this. This is a big deal, says Matthew Watkins. WVU should be doing all they can to work more with McAfee. It can only be good for us, in my opinion. Which brings me to another great point, Matthew. This could help build some fencing, right? What did he say? I have basically no relationship with the athletic director or with Neil Brown. Well, Ren Baker did try to reach out to him via letters, via voicemails, different things like that. And I think they have spoken now. Pat can be tough to deal with, as evidenced by a few people have said over the years. He's just a little hard-headed. And don't forget, guys, West Virginia fans gave him and his family death threats. And I think he still, while he loves the university, I think he still holds that. That's a part of him that hasn't healed yet. And I would love to somehow find a way for him to get over it because it really bothers me. He brings it up on that show all the time. If they came to spring game, effing genius, Paul. Let's get that idea out. Yeah, It's a great idea, it would not only does it fill up the stadium in what's going to be the best team we've had since I guess if you're talking about preseason height, 18, 17, the Will Greer teams maybe a Skylar Howard team, in 15, 16. But there are ways you can market this thing. I just think it's all about. Sorry guys, somebody pulled up to my front door here. Nope, not for me. Sorry guys. Thought somebody was going to knock for me here. But anyway, there's several different ways it can be marketed, and for me, it's all about cashing in on all of them. So I thought they were going to interrupt my show, and I was going to have to end it early. I was like, gosh, man, just all the times. Hells yeah. Exactly, Matthew. They can be as large as they want to make it, and for me, it's like you can go as big as the spring game, you can go as small as the theater. If this ends up in the theater, I want to know why, and there's just so many different levels to this. If you want to start counting them off, at the base level, you build a foundation with Neil Brown and Pat McAfee, Rim Baker and Pat McAfee. That's to me, that's number one. That's where it all begins. Then you talk about Pat meeting some of these players and really starting to know them by name. The only one he really knows is Garrett Green at this point, maybe CJ. Pat needs to know our players again, guys. I'm talking about he really needs to be involved with this program. He could end up being the biggest boon to our university publicly inside, NIL. The opportunities he can offer at the Pat McAfee Show at ESPN are endless, guys. Literally endless. And then you start talking about the financial aspects of this. You can layer this thing in, like you said. Either you can do it with a theater, you can bring in some recruits, you can do the same thing at the Coliseum, you can do it at the spring game, you can do it at game day, college game day. Like there's just a ton of different things you can do. And if nobody makes something of this, it's either because Herbstreit and McAfee didn't have the schedules for it, or maybe Pat's not ready to contribute that much yet. It hadn't gotten over some of this stuff. I don't think that's the thing. I think he's ready to. And it's really all about just getting everybody on the same page for one day and then committing all out for that day, at the end of the day, it's basically an innocent bet that Herbstreit made, really picking at Pat McAfee, that's turned into this. But man, let's turn this thing around for our good. We're the butt of the joke, right? In basketball right now, we're the butt of the joke. I don't like being the butt of the freaking joke. That's not who we are as West Virginians. We punch above our weight. So let's do that. Even in this situation, pisses me off, man. So let's make this a year to remember, guys. Who knows how many years we have left at West Virginia? You look at what Washington State and Oregon State's going through. They're just a level below us, historically in football. As far as, they're Power 5, but they haven't won much. Washington State's won a little bit. Oregon State won a little bit recently, but I wouldn't consider them on our level. But we're not far away from being where they're at without a place to call home. So I just feel like we need to capitalize on any and every opportunity for this upcoming season, guys. It can really be one of the greatest we've had since the mid-2000s. I'm not kidding. Krista said, I would love to see it either the weekend of the spring game or the weekend of the Penn State game. This is too big of an opportunity not to hype this. Absolutely. If done right, said Don Johnson, it could be really good, especially I like the 50-50 for NIL and the Children's Hospital. That is awesome. And what better reason, if you're not going to say it's for NIL, say it's for the Children's Hospital and make it for the stadium, because because you'll get the best of both worlds that way. You'll get people who don't really care about football as much at the stadium for the Children's Hospital aspect of this. And maybe you can sell people that don't deal with donating to the Children's Hospital the football side of that. You know, it's a great mix of classes of people to intermingle with. And the NIL miracle. Oh, that'd have been a good thumbnail, Luke. Maybe I should have done that, huh? An NIL miracle. I just wish I had like the twinkling eyes, or like Herbstreit or McAfee. That'd be funny. I don't have the computer power. I don't have the. If I had computer software, if I had a good computer, there's all kinds of funny stuff I can make. But unfortunately, I'm doing the best I can with this. Yeah, I agree. Pokemon Kid Entertainment, love the name. I'm building a 10-win season, y'all. The W's keep stacking up, and August could not be here soon enough. Absolutely. Oh, to get back to those mid-2000s era days. McAfee working with us and talking more about money or more and more about us may just be what does it. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I'm here for it. So don't forget to like the video, guys. If you're in here, there's 50 of you guys on the nose at the moment. Like the video for me. Even if you just pop out and pop right back in, you might have to click off of this to hit that like button. And then if you're on this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button for me, man. I'm like this close to 2,000. I've been trying to get from 1,500 to 2,000 for as long as it took me to get from 0 to 1,500. Like, it's been a heck of a thing. So, and it's probably because I haven't expanded out from West Virginia stuff. But I love doing my West Virginia stuff. At the end of the day, I'm even though I make more money doing other stuff, nothing kicks me in the tail like a good West Virginia story. Drop a comment below and let me know how you feel like it. If you're watching this during the video, drop a comment after you get done watching. Let me know how you enjoyed the show. If you're watching this after it airs, let me know how you feel about the Pat McAfee Kirk Herbstreit thing. What could it grow into? What ideas do you have for Ren Baker? And if you guys put your best 5 on the comment section, I'll give some to Ren Baker. I'll shoot some his direction. I try not to bother Ren. I try not to bother people that I know, but I'll do my best. He doesn't always see my messages, but he does every now and then. Oh my gosh, man. Shaggy in West Virginia said upgrade Paul's PC fund. Yeah, man. Look, I don't want to tell you guys my financial situation, but it's not great. At the end of the day, I think a lot of you guys know I'm in recovery. I say that all the time. And the way I live my life, set it on a certain path. And so I don't have as much money or anything as maybe somebody else my age should have, but I have as much happiness as somebody my age should have. And I love doing this channel, and I feel like the wisdom that I was able to accrue over that time is worth more than money. So hopefully there are people in my life that helps. Appreciate the PC fund thing. That was funny. I feel like if we could get Penn State, sky's the limit. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, I think win or lose, we can still have a great season. But certainly if we win that game, either we're really good or Penn State's not as good as everybody thinks, right? And hopefully it's the former. We know Penn State's pretty good because they were a top 15 team all year last year, and they returned everybody. They return as much as we do, guys. So Penn State lost both right tackle and left tackle, but their guards and center all returned. They returned Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. They lost Theo Johnson to the draft. Tyler Warren is coming back at tight end, who's an elite pass-catching tight end. They get the Ohio State transfer, the former 5-star receiver that caught 500-600 yards there last year at Ohio State and 5 touchdowns in the recruiting in the portal. Keandre Lambert-Johnson, who caught the first touchdown against us last year, is back at wide receiver for them. And they've got even the same backup quarterback in Prabula. They gave the guy their stack. They moved Abdul Carter to defensive end. He'll be far and away the best defensive player we see next year. And they are really, truly stacked. If you can't tell, I've done my research on them. And I truly feel like we measure up. I didn't last year. I thought any game you feel like you got a puncher's chance. I really feel like we know who we are. They add Andy Kotelnicki to the mix. Now, if you don't know who that is, that's the former Kansas offensive coordinator who, just from my eyeballs, from my eye looking at it, he's an X's and O's guy. And we better be in the right place because what he did at Kansas was a lot of pre-snap motion, right? More than most teams in the country. Like, he does a ton of pre-snap motion. What does pre-snap motion do? Well, it tells them, for one thing, what you're in. If you're disguising anything, what alignment you're using, right? Are you in that man or zone coverage? And Andy Kotelnicki's as good as anybody at figuring that stuff out. So I think, we're going to have to be really on our P's and Q's for that game, Krista. But we've got a shot with the continuity returning at coordinator, at quarterback. The second year of the system is always the best. And I consider this really Garrett's second year because it's not the same offense he was running. It's the same verbiage, but it's not the same offense he was running when Nagy was here, right? Excuse me. So, I mean, obviously we got Garrett, and Garrett has to perform up to the standards that's been set for him. He can't have an Oklahoma game like last year, and he can't get injured. He's got to be smarter. If those two things happen, I really do think when magical season's in the works, because Traylon Ray, it's not a matter if, it's when he breaks out. It's not a matter of if, but it's when Jaheim White breaks out. And I'm telling you, Wyatt Milam is going to be a first-round pick. There's so many players on the offensive line that I can point to. You look at a guy like Xavier Bosley, who's a freshman All-American out of Jacksonville State. You plug him into the right side of the offensive line and let him fight it out with Nick Malone, who is really one of the better offensive linemen on our team. And really, whoever wins that battle out, we're going to have a really solid right tackle. The interior of the offense is basically going to be the same, but we just have to replace the center. Personally, I think a true freshman is going to win that job, believe it or not. Kyle Altuner is probably going to win that job. If not the first 2 or 3 games of the year, by the end of the year, Kyle Altuner's got that job. So I don't want to go through the entire roster. I get on a tangent, but we measure up. So we'll see what happens on that game, but it's going to be a springboard, absolutely. It'd be cool if College Game Day was there for that. Don Johnson said I would skip summer to get to the end of August. This is going to be a great year of football. I would too, man. I would too, no doubt about it. By the way, if you want to be like Shaggy in West Virginia and give me a super chat, I don't ask. I normally don't even ask, but it would certainly mean a ton, if you want to do that. That way I can read your comment and go on a tangent. If you want to see me go on a tangent, send me a super chat. I'll go tangent on your comment. My sinuses are playing tricks on me all of a sudden again. Also, like I said, feed the monster. I call the algorithm. Don't forget to like the video. All right. Herbie's generosity with Pat's appearance is a good start for Ren and Neil to make new beginnings. Absolutely. Clement, Ray, and Taylor are going to be a dangerous trio. Yeah, and I would throw Preston Fox in there too, John. I think Preston Fox has got the chance to be a really, really good possession receiver for us. He's got some of the best hands on the team. He makes a ton of tough catches. And then don't forget about Bray, the transfer out of Oklahoma State. So and then you look at Ronnie Gallagher, who they're going to have to figure out a spot for. But if it was me, this is what I would do. This is truly what I would do. I would still give CJ the ball out of the backfield, but I would cut his opportunities in half, and I would put him on the line and let him play receiver / tight end. Go watch his high school tape. He's a route running fool. He can really run around out there for a guy his size, and especially a tight end. And he's just big enough to really be a good pass catching tight end. If you go look at last year when he was got the ball thrown his way, he's extremely natural at it. So I would love to see CJ get a little more pass catching opportunities. Yeah, and Bray, John. Don't forget about Bray, the Oklahoma State transfer. He was only their leading receiver last year. Well, the second leading receiver behind Presley. Yeah, I think he has potential, Krista. Oh, and then listen, that's not even considering Day Farmer, guys, who could probably end up being the most explosive receiver on the team by the end of next year. And I'm not kidding. Go look up Darius Farmer, our 4-star recruit at receiver. And then we got another Brandon Raymond, Rehman, out of St. Joseph's Prep is another. On some, he was a 3, but he was a 4-star wide receiver recruit out of that pipeline where we've got Josiah Trotter and guys like that here recently. Marcus Amato said enough tangents and go on a cosign. Tyler Cobb said Preston Fox has been the best high point catcher on the team. He makes big time plays. That he does, my dude. Absolutely. Yep, P. Fox is back. Daryl Yeater, what's up, my brother? Definitely want to get you some money. I didn't get a debit card. I'm an off-grid kind of guy. But you deserve it. You, Mountaineer Paul, are a major player in the public eye as far as influencing players. I appreciate that, man. I do. Worked hard for that, So, but I mean, that means a lot to hear you say. I can appreciate being off grid. I've definitely been an off grid guy in the past. I don't care what Penn State has coming back. Yes, they are good. Yes, we are good too. And we don't have to take a backseat to them. I really feel like we are going to get that game. Our home field is crazy good, says Don Johnson. Yeah, I just I have to, as a content creator. You ain't got to do shit, Don. But as a content creator, I have to take off the gold blue glasses sometimes. Is your take fully objective? I would say probably not. I would say there's a little bit of bias in there, just a little. But that's okay. I have to try to remain as objective as I can. It's really, really hard, But if I'm being objective, I still think Penn State should get the points. We should get the points going into that game. Even if it's 3 or 5. They earned it based on their preseason ranking last year and how they played and their postseason rankings. We're kind of new to the rankings since Neil Brown has been here, and we have to prove it before I can say definitively that we are anything like Penn State. So not trying to be a Debbie Downer on that, but I got to see us do it. We haven't beaten many, if any, quality teams. I mean, even the ones we did beat were having down years. Oklahoma State, having down years when we beat them. North Carolina didn't have their quarterback. You go on and on. All at the end of the day, yes, you do have to win the games, but especially the Oklahoma and Oklahoma State teams, those were not the teams that, like they were this year. Keep the good work, Paul. I'll keep your channel. Hope your channel continues to grow. I'm just a working man, but I'll help you when I can. Hey, Shaggy, it means a ton, my dude. I mean, I don't have expectations. I don't come on here with the expectations that I'm going to make. I don't do this for money, first of all. My sponsor pays me more than anything I ever make, like on the super chats or the ad revenue and all that. It all adds up. But I don't come here expecting you guys to. It's just you guys are we're all West Virginians. Ain't none of us rich probably. So I mention it, because there might always be somebody willing to give, but I don't beat a dead horse. There's no reason to, people know that I'm providing the service mostly free. and I'm okay with doing that, if I have to. But I would love to have the money. Daryl said you create a good culture, a culture here of good WU fans, no BS in these talks. I make sure and help out with that. I appreciate that, Daryl, man. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason, like I try to treat everybody the same, man. You know, uh, there's just no reason to some of the stuff you see on other channels. I try to stick away from that. Like if somebody disrespects or offends me, I'll let them know, stand my ground. But there's no reason to get too deep into it, too deep into the weeds. It's just social media. People get so upset over this stuff. Forgot about the dude we took from UCF. What are you talking about, John? UCF, Central Florida? Who are you talking about? Let me get a drink before I read this, Tyler. He says, Tyler Cobb says, Paul, off topic, but I saw an interesting idea when the inevitable fall of the ACC happens. The Big 12 stop playing backseat and go to 24 teams, members, pick up the two remaining Pac 12 schools. In San Diego State, Miami, add San Diego State, Miami, Louisville, Pitt, NC State, Virginia Tech, and ACC, and break into 3 and 18 pods. Well, I do think there is some value in being the first conference to expand that to that many teams. And I think just the sheer number of those teams gives you, some value, but it's really all about which ACC teams we can get, right? And if you're telling me that NC State, Virginia Tech, Louisville, and Pitt, Miami are involved, I'll sign up on the dotted line for that. Yes, I would like to have North Carolina and Virginia or Clemson or Florida State, but I'll take those guys. Miami has the potential at any point in time to turn into back to what they were. They just need the right TLC. NC State's always been a tough out here lately, especially. We know what that other team is. Louisville obviously had one of the best seasons they've had in recent memory last year. And then Virginia Tech is our second most hated rival. So that would be fun. The other teams are just thrown in for flavoring to me, Tyler. The likelihood of it is what I would like to know a little more about. These discussions kind of get down a little bit too far down the holler for me, if you know what I'm saying, because it gets to the end of my knowledge about the situation, and people who I just don't know how realistic this is yet. If you're telling me that it's got a 50-50 chance or even 60-40, like, do we have a real chance of this happening, or are these just what ifs kind of conversations? I guess is what I'm really asking. And I'm not talking about the split. I'm talking about these specific teams. Like, if you're telling me, I don't care about the others. If we can get Miami, Louisville, Pitt, NC State, Virginia Tech, sign me up. I think there's no way they can keep us out at that point. No way. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't consider him that. But yeah, we did flip him from UCF, basically. I was thinking a transfer. That's what caught me off guard. Thanks, Goose. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. He said, I'm absolutely biased, but also realistic in everything I've seen and learned about Bill's program. Very impressed and just think it may be our time. Yeah, absolutely, Don. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just saying I need to see us do it. You know, like we have all the potential in the world on this team. I mean, defense is a whole other story. We don't know where that's going to land yet. The two Northwestern transfers, can't even begin to say how impactful those guys are. Like, extremely, 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 extremely impactful. Just because they played on a Patterson on a get my tongue tied here on a Patterson team, because they played on great defensive teams too, and they won 8 games last year, guys. On a team that didn't really score the ball. They had offense like we did the first 3 games. So those guys know what it looks like, and can certainly have far back in. And they both played 300 plus snaps, so they know what it is, and they were pretty productive. Tyler Cops and the Pack schools in San Diego State were thrown in there, so you could break into 3 pods based on geography: the Pacific, Midwest, and Atlantic pods. Okay, yeah, it'd be. Listen, I'm for it. I just I need to know the likelihood of it first before I really put what I would consider a bunch of brain power into it, trying to figure it out or something. Daryl Anderson 9-4, and Drew and Neil and Ren showing they are here. It is happening. They are doing it. Son of Skeeter, what's up, brother? 9917. Paul and Coos, my top two channels for W football. Hey, man, I appreciate the hell out of that. It means a ton, man. Son of Skeeter, is that like Skeeter from Doug? Back in the day when I was a youngin', we used to watch Doug Funny. He had a buddy named Skeeter on there. The growth is immense, absolutely. We just have to do it against good teams, especially on the road. Like, I really do think that's going to be the biggest obstacle for us. Like, going to Arizona this year on the road, that's going to be tough, right? Different games like that, going to, wherever else we go, I pull the schedule. But, I want to see us do it before I fully buy into Neil Brown 100% for the future. Like, he right now he's trending towards Frank Beamer, right? Who had just a really bad start at Virginia Tech, like just as bad or worse than Neil's was. But when he turned it around, you saw what they did. Similarly, I think Neil's trending in that direction. So be happy for that to happen for him, man. I really would. So, all right, guys. I think that's about all I could go for this evening. We just did the other hour and something on the other channel right before this, and wanted to get on here and talk about this topic with Herbie and Pat. So, okay, that was your dad's nickname, and unfortunately, he's passed. Oh, I thought you meant the nickname passed. Well, I can relate to you there, brother. My dad passed away too. It's rough, ain't it? You never get over it. So I wish you all the best with that. Really do, son of Skeeter. Needs to be like he is, really calm, cool, never satisfied. Good chat, guys. Break. That's better than I can do, Daryl. Don't forget to like the video before you leave, guys. As you jump out of here, if all 94 of you guys hit the like button for me, it'd mean a whole hell of a lot. Just send this kind of rocket this video off so I can get some views. And then drop a comment too if you can. And then best of all, if you could click the copy, the link, or share this video out on X, Facebook, or anywhere else that you can real quick. Like, that's worth more than money to me. It really, truly is. I'm just trying real hard to get up to 2,000. So sorry to ask you guys for all that, but if you can do it, even if 20 of you do it, it would seriously launch my channel into it. I mean, seriously, it would help me a lot. So if you can, you can. You can't, you can. It's not a big deal. I'll be back tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know how you feel about Herbstreit and McAfee coming to town. And what are the possibilities? Hope you enjoyed this video of an episode of Mountain Deer Paul's Off Football. This episode is over. I'm out.